In this video, we're going to review how to solve equations, but before I do that, I just want to get some basic vocabulary down regarding equations. An equation is basically two expressions that are equal. In order for something to be an equation, it has to have an equal sign in it. So for example, I could say that 3x minus 4 is equal to 7. This would be an equation. I know an equation is true if it has a solution, if it makes sense. So I could say something like 1 plus 7 is equal to 8. Hopefully you'll recognize that 1 plus 7 is indeed 8. Or I might be able to say x plus 2x is equal to 3x. It's true, okay? It works out. 3x minus 4 equals 7 is true because I can solve for x. Okay? Something is false if it's not true. So for example, if I put 1 plus 7 is equal to 9, like some of you do on assignments every once in a while, I can look at this and say, gee, something's not right. So normally I put a line through the equals sign to show that it's false, it's incorrect, it is not equivalent. Something is considered to be open if there are more than one variables. So something like 2x minus y is equal to 9 is something that's open because there's multiple solutions. Depending on what I pick for x value and y value, I'm going to get different answers. So if you remember from last year, this is an example of what we would call a linear equation, that I could come up with a chart of values where every x value would give a different y value. A solution is a value that makes the equation true. So, for example, if I said x minus 4 is equal to 5, I could say that x would equal 9. The reason being is because 9 minus 4 does equal 5. So this would be considered the solution. Okay. Now, how do I go about solving an equation? Okay, we're going to do a little more work with this, but if you remember from last year, if I have 4x minus 3 is equal to 12, my goal is to get the x by itself. So the first thing I would do is, well, I'd have to do the reverse of order of operations. So since I add and subtract last, that will be the first thing that I do. So I'm going to show that I'm going to add 3 to this side, which means I have to do it to this side as well. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Negative 3 plus 3 cancel out, which then would leave me with the 4x on the left side. 12 plus 3 would equal 15. Next, I would have to undo the 4 times x by dividing by 4. The 4's will cancel out. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So in this case, x would equal 15/4. Now, most times we will leave that just the way it is written. Okay, so this would be my solution. Now, let's say, for example, I wanted to estimate the solution. I wasn't sure how to look for this answer. Okay, what I could do is set up a chart of values where I would say, look at a value of x, and then I would figure out what 4x minus 3 would equal. So I could begin with 0. If I plug in 0, I get negative 3. If I plug in 1, I get 1. Okay. Keeping in mind my goal is to find 12. I could do 2. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 3 is 5. If I plug in 3, 4 times 3 is 12, minus 3 is 9. I keep getting a little bit closer each time. If I plug in 4, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 minus 3 is going to be 13. Okay. Look, I've gone over. So, what that tells me is that if I am looking for when this is going to be 12, my answer needs to be in between 3 and 4, which if I take 15/4, it becomes 3 and 3/4. So, yes indeed, my answer would fall right in between 3 and 4. This is called using a table. Okay, in order to be able to estimate the answer. So, when in doubt, a table is definitely a great way to go. Although I think based off of last year, it'll be probably a little bit quicker for you just to use your skills at solving the equation. But there are times where it's going to be important to be able to look at a table and to be able to interpret. So anyway, hopefully this has been a good review of how to solve equations and a good reintroduction to the concept.